At the point that a film opens with a warning to say that this movie has like an epilepsy trigger because of flashing lights, I'm pretty sure we know we're in for something special. And that's what we got. Because, yeah, like, wow.
So Thelma is the prequel to Thelma and Louise. Oh, I had to do it. No, Thelma is in fact a Norwegian film, and it is one hell of a Norwegian film. It essentially follows a young sort of troubled girl who comes from a very religious family, and she begins to fall in love with another female, and then she kind of goes on this journey of self-discovery. But this journey is a mind trip.
It's kind of, you know, there's a bit of perhaps, you know, like supernatural powers involved, and it's just a really kind of, I feel like it's a film that we've seen in many different aspects before. A lot of these kind of things we've seen in films in the past, but the approach to it is so incredibly unique. Now this film is directed by Joachim Trier. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I hope I am. I'm hoping we're starting to get those names. Joachim Trier. Someone help me out. Who most recently did the American film Louder Than Bombs. He's gone back to his home kind of place right now to make this film. The thing I want to say about this film is it all kind of comes down to just a couple of things. And those things are tone, atmosphere, and just the exploration of self-discovery here. So obviously you got those technical things, and the core focus of this story is self-discovery. This character who doesn't really know a whole lot about herself, a whole lot about her past, or about her family, discovering who she really is. And obviously we get a lot of films that are like this. A lot of kind of teenage films in general tend to be about this type of subject matter, but the approach to it here is so incredibly sensitive. This is a really quiet film. This is the type of film I think a lot of people are going to watch and be like, hey, that was boring. But the amount of content here in these scenes that are all really extensive, like every scene in this movie has a lot of time spent on it, and a lot of it is just spent on the lead actress and just what she is capable of delivering with her face, with her eyes, with just her expression in general, that lets us like access this person who is in an incredible amount of internal turmoil, this kind of emotional turmoil as she comes to term with this kind of person that she is.
I mean, as you said before this film, there's a warning for people with epilepsy, but if we're going to give you a warning about this film, I would just say be prepared to give yourself to this film. Give everything, because that's what I did when I watched it. I mean, I watched it with Bailey and it was his second time seeing it. And like, obviously I'd gone in with him going, oh my god, this film's absolutely unreal.
I love this movie to the next level.
And I was ready to just go, okay, let me just give myself to this film and see what happens. And honestly, it is so rewarding. It is a film that is so engrossing. It is absolutely astounding. I mean, after the first half an hour, I was literally almost in a state of paralysis. Like, I hadn't moved, and I had to like realign my body. I was like, oh my god, can I feel my feet for a second? Just because this film just pushes you into its world, and you're just believing everything that you're seeing, and you're wanting to know where this kind of almost mystery goes, where everything unravels, what it is leading to.
It is handled with an incredible amount of conviction. So even though this film is dealing with the supernatural elements along the way with this story, and there's a lot of kind of heightened scenes with kind of this magic realism approach to things where it's not quite grounded in reality, there's a lot of kind of distorted reality perception going on. The way it's handled is just always with the utmost sincerity. It is a maximum value of the characters in relation to these kind of wild events that are going on. Those events never take center stage. It is always how they impact and affect the characters. Again, this is a wonderful, wonderful example of a movie that holds off information until the point where you really need it, where it will change your understanding of things that have come before, and it does such an effective job at delivering those kind of kind of twists and turns. They're not necessarily twists, but just ways where it kind of recontextualizes a scene. You understand something that's happened before in one way, and then after certain things have happened, you come to understand them in another way, which for a second viewing, which I've had the liberty to be able to have before doing this review, it revealed completely new elements to this film that were not accessible the first time, because watching it again, there's so much to explore. And this movie it's definitely complex in its ideas, and I think a lot of people will get lost along the way. But I think by the time you get to the ending of this movie, it's important to understand that it is a lot simpler than you think. A lot of people walk out of it with, like, both instances that I've seen of people walked out and been like, hey, what did this mean? What did that happen? Because it's a very symbolic movie, and there's a lot of kind of, as I've said, that kind of heightened reality type thing. But it all boils down to a very simple kind of thing, and it's all addressed in the movie. There's nothing else you have to really think about or explore. It's all there.
And somewhat similar to Mother from last year, where that film obviously used a lot of religious allegories and metaphors and symbolism throughout the film to explain things. This film does it as well. Definitely not to the same extent that that film did, but when it does use them, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I didn't grow up with an entirely religious family, but I'm sure that people... Neither of us did, but I'm sure that people that have will actually get a lot from this film, because it doesn't use it in any sort of poor way, but it uses some beautiful religious stories to kind of unravel things in this film and to explain how our lead character is feeling, and it is fantastic to watch. And Ellie Harbo, who performs as our lead character of Thelma here, is absolutely terrific. Like, possibly one of the greatest performances of 2017. I mean, like, there should be a lot more recognition for this performance because it is just...
very challenging.
Yeah, it's so challenging, and it's outstanding for what she creates on screen, because she goes through this absolutely wild character journey and delivers just some of the most beautiful inner and complex moments on screen. Like, sometimes you might not be completely understanding what she's going through, but you at least sympathize, and you can just... It's a fantastic performance.
And that extends to the supporting roles as well. While they're all relatively minor and it's really focused on the central character of Thelma, there's a lot of texture and depth to the other characters around her that definitely feel like they enhance the role of Thelma, but they also kind of have their own stories to them as well. This movie, in terms of its construction, is really stunning. As I've said, it's a very kind of almost slow burn, but it's so much about that is the engrossing atmosphere of this kind of central mystery. The film is kind of revolving around who is this person, what is she capable of, and so much of that with the slow zooms, kind of slow tracking shots following, and just all this kind of focus on just sucking you in, and the score does a fantastic job of that as well. This movie actually opens on like pure like kind of black credits, just on the black screen, with just the score kind of overpowering you for a couple of minutes straight.
Yeah, it's like
really just setting the tone.
It's like a heart-throbbing score kind of thing. Every time it comes in, it's just pounding.
It's like you can feel it in your veins. Hey, like it's actually something that flows through you, and it kind of allows you to kind of almost become part of the movie. It's a very kind of subjectively shot film where so much of it is about what a character is seeing and how they perceive it, and putting us in their position, so we're kind of feeling it with them. Overall, it is just a really, really like beautifully constructed movie, and I think so much of this movie is just truly stunning. Do I think overall there's some ideas that couldn't have been pushed further to make them kind of more simply communicated? For sure, there's definitely a lot of stuff that I think could have been pushed, and there's a couple of certain lines here and there which may actually be more down to the translation, because it's obviously not in English, that didn't come out quite as strong as I think they could have. But overall, it really is just a stunning experience. I was literally paralyzed after watching it for the first time. I just didn't talk to anyone in ages. I drove home from the cinema with like no music, no nothing, just windows down, just trying to like stay in that zone. And that's such a rare thing with movies, and it's the kind of thing I really, really cherish.
So, as I'm sure you figured, we're going to highly recommend this film. I mean, like, it's a hard one to probably grab a hold of, because it is a foreign film and it probably gets a limited release depending on where you are. But if you do get the chance, don't sleep on Thelma. It is absolutely fantastic. It's a film that is so enriching, and you will get so much from it, and you can learn so much from it as well. It is just such a phenomenal, like, whoa, what a film. Oh my god, I can't stop talking about it. We can't stop talking about it. We better chuck a score on it. We're gonna land a 9 for Thelma. Just honestly, check this movie out, find it, and watch it.
So that was our review of Thelma. Have you seen it yet?
Did you like it?
Did you hate it?
Did you like the video?
Of course you did.
More banter.
If so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel down there somewhere.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, all at Breaking Banter. And on Patreon, because we're there and we really love that support, guys, please.
Hey, thanks for remembering that one this time, buddy. Good job.